How are we doing, guys? Max here from Max Performance Coaching. I hope you're all doing great. Firstly, a massive warm welcome to MPC and a massive thank you for downloading your free health and fitness guide that's designed to help you as a busy working professional achieve life-changing results with your health and fitness whilst juggling a full-time work and life schedule. It's probably the case that at this moment in time you're feeling burnt out, lacking energy, unhappy with the way you look in photos as well as in the mirror, and you're probably feeling a bit self-conscious and uncomfortable just generally in the clothes that you wear and lacking that confidence in your ability both inside and outside the gym. It's probably the case that right now you're really doing really well at your work. You've probably got a thriving business, or it might be the case that you're progressing through your career within the job role that you're currently committed to. However, that has come as a sacrifice to our own health and well-being. And what this guide is designed to do is to help you try and break that mold and enable you to achieve the life-changing results that you want alongside having a thriving business and career. So a little bit about me. My name is Max Melville. I've been running my own health and fitness business for the last, I've been in the health and fitness industry for the last 10 years, but been running Max Performance Coaching for the last 2. My fitness experience and my fitness journey kind of started right in my younger years, whereby I always had a football at feet. There was never a moment that you wouldn't have a football at my feet. And I was very fortunate that throughout the time playing football, I managed to sign a semi-professional contract for a very good football team, and then ultimately had the ability to be able to play in some really cool stadiums. That looked like it was going to develop into a full-time commitment for me. However, sadly, I picked up quite a nasty knee injury, which then brought that career crashing down. As a result of that, and because it was a massive coping mechanism for me growing up, because sadly, during my younger years, I was abused in school by a teacher, and it was a massive confidence thing. By having that comfort blanket ripped out from underneath me, the first thing I turned to was food. I formed a really negative relationship with food. I got to the point where I put on lots of weight, and ultimately I was feeling really self-conscious in myself. It would be the case that I'll be looking at myself in the mirror and I'd just be disgusted with what I saw. I would never have any skin on show just because I was always thinking that people were looking at me, judging me, and ultimately I just didn't feel good in myself at all. As a result of this and putting on quite a bit of weight, because I was still going through my education at the time, I did get picked on for being a bit of a larger guy. And as a result, my head latched onto that. And as soon as my head latched onto that, essentially I dropped loads of weight. I went from around 96 kilos being my heaviest down to around 43, medically diagnosed with anorexia. And yeah, I planted myself in hospital and basically got to the point where doctors told me if I didn't change what I was doing within the next 2 to 3 years, I probably wouldn't be here anymore. And ultimately, that's what sparked my love and my passion for health and fitness. I tried to turn my life around as best as I could, got back into good eating habits, going to the gym. And I believe that's what springboarded my love and passion for health and fitness. And also that's where Max Performance Coaching was born, because my passion and my desire is to help other people who've been in similar positions, might not necessarily be in the extremes of where I've been, but ultimately to help someone who's feeling lacking confidence, not feeling good, feeling burnt out, not achieving the results that they want to achieve, and being able to help them do that. So one of the key things that we need to do within any health and fitness journey is understand where our challenges currently lie and accept where we are now in order to move forwards. So one of the key things that we need to do as a busy working professional is understand where our challenges lie on a day-to-day basis. Let's face it, we've been in the working environment, it's a very high-pressured place. And it might be the case that business is thriving and your work career is really developing, however, we're barely surviving. And understanding where our challenges lie allows us to move forwards. So some of the challenges that we might face on a day-to-day basis include, but are not limited to, time constraints, stress, a sedentary lifestyle, because let's be honest, majority of our time is probably sat in front of a computer screen for the majority of the day in meetings and completing work, as well as adopting unhealthy eating habits, because let's face it, when we're either sat at home, potentially working from home, or we're in a working environment in the office, there's always those unhealthy treats and snacks that people have bought in, which are all too tempting to dive for. And what this guide is designed to do is to help you navigate this and put you in the best place possible to achieve your health and fitness goals. So time management for fitness. Let's be honest, it's very easy, especially after a high pressure day. You've probably pulled a 10 to 15 hour day alongside commuting, getting home. You've obviously potentially got a family, kids at home, etc. that you want to spend time with. The last thing that we probably prioritize is our health. However, this isn't necessarily an issue on a standalone occasion, but when we make it a consistent thing, that's when we're going to come unstuck. So it's very important that we prioritize our health and well-being. Now, the notion that all workouts need to last for potentially 1 to 2 hours every day, potentially 5 to 6 times a week, is not only an idea that's ill-founded, it's just totally impossible to commit to, especially when we have all these other things that we're managing on a day-to-day basis. So let's be realistic with the way that we are right now and where we are sitting with our work as well as our day-to-day life. We need to understand where our time sits. So one of the key things that I want you to do, and potentially in order for you to springboard your health and fitness journey, is to look at your time, write down your schedule, understand where you are week in, week out, day in, day out, and understand how much time you've actually got available. Now, once we've understood this, it might be the case we might be able to sneak in a 20 to 30 minute workout, potentially 5 to 6 times a week. Absolutely perfect. It might not even be that many times. It might be 3 times a week, but that is more than enough for you to achieve your health and fitness goals. And that's where it leads me on to my next point. Make the most out of the time that you have. And when you do your workouts, make them high intensity so you know that you're going to be burning a good amount of calories. And then lastly, if we know that potentially you might not be able to train on a certain day, well, what could we do in our day-to-day life in order to make better choices and being able to move more? So it might be the case that we actively commute from like point A to point B. So that could involve walking to the train station, cycling to a train station, cycling home, potentially taking the stairs versus the lift. It's these small changes that if we implement them on a day-to-day basis, a week-by-week basis, and throughout the course of the year, that we're going to see radical results. So stress management techniques, let's be honest, like I said earlier, it's probably the case that we're working long days and it's overall a stressful environment to be involved in. Now, being able to manage this stress is not only crucial to your own mental health, but also your physical well-being. So one of the key things that actually helps with this is regular exercise. Moving more releases endorphins, and that can help deal with stress, as well as enabling us to basically get a bit of headspace from the working environment. On top of this, practicing mindfulness and meditation is a key thing that I found really helps, as well as helping me be able to get into a better sleeping pattern. Putting your phone on Do Not Disturb 30 minutes to an hour before bed and putting on a guided meditation can really, really help you basically get into a better habit with your sleep, which will overall help with your energy levels on a day-to-day basis. Avoiding the snack cupboard. Let's be honest, either whether it be we're working from home or in the office environment, it's probably the case that it's really easy during a slight break to quickly walk over to a snack cupboard and essentially consume so many calories with unhealthy foods. So the best way of being able to attack this and prepare for this is planning and prepping meals. During the times where we are cooking and we have the ability to, whether that be at the weekend or of an evening, batch cooking is not only going to be a time saver, but a money saver too. On top of that, smart snacking is really important. If you know that you are a snacker and you struggle throughout the course of the day to just stick to potentially your breakfast, lunch and dinners and potentially get a bit hungry in between those, and you know that you find it all too tempting to go to that snack cupboard and to engulf biscuits, crisps, potentially fizzy drinks, so surround yourself with healthier options such as your fruits, as well as like a mixture of nuts and seeds, as well as like yogurts and just healthier options. Not only is this going to help us overall feel better on a day-to-day basis, but it's going to allow us to be mindful of the amount of calories that we're consuming, especially if we're sat down for long periods of time. And that brings me on to my next point. Try and focus on eating a balanced diet. Stick to whole foods as opposed to processed ones, which are only going to elevate our blood sugar levels even more, which is going to leave us feeling drained, lethargic, and overall push us away from where we want to be. Building confidence through fitness. There are so many key things that we need to do within our health and fitness journey in order to make sure that we remain on track. One of these is setting achievable goals. So one of the key exercises that I get my clients to do when they join Max Performance Coaching is that we make a 12-week vision. By having this 12-week vision, we not only remain focused throughout the time that we are training and going through the program, but we also have an understanding of where the steps are in order for us to achieve the goals that we want to achieve. And by understanding where these steps are, we can remain focused, we can remain accountable throughout the time that we're on our fitness journey. On top of this, it's really important that you track progress, not only with your training, but also with your nutrition. Understanding where these two areas lie means that we can, again, remain focused on where it is that we're going to with our health and fitness and achieve our goals in a timely and effective manner. So using apps such as MyFitnessPal is something that we use, as well as we use an app called TrueCoach, which enables our clients to understand where their workouts are, how they can navigate those throughout their busy work schedule, have video demonstrations of everything, so it's all so easy to pick up and just follow, as opposed to being in the gym and not knowing what to do. And another key thing that a lot of my clients find really useful is having a support system in place, whether this be the case of having friends and family that they train with, but also potentially employing a coach or having someone that's going to be on their shoulder to keep them accountable throughout the time that they're on their fitness journey. Essentially, make sure that week by week they're moving from pillar to post in terms of what it is that they want to achieve. One of the key sayings that I always use with a lot of people is that enthusiasm is common, consistency is rare, and it's 100% true. Everyone has the desire to be the better version of themselves. However, there's only a small number of people who are actually going to make those changes and implement those changes consistently in order to make that dream a reality. Now, in terms of that, setbacks can and will happen. There will be times whereby, time takes over and essentially you've got work schedule deadlines that you need to meet. It might be the case that you need to spend some time with your family, and that's absolutely fine. However, if we allow ourselves to always get into the notion that we are always going to put our health and well-being on the back burner, we will never get to where it is that we want to achieve. We have to make it a priority, just like we would with like a deadline for work or spending time with family, because ultimately that's going to invest into us, which is going to make us more present in these things. So it's really, really important that we understand that movement beats no movement. So whether it be a quick 10-minute walk, a 10-minute run, going to the gym, or whatever that looks like, movement beats no movement is going to allow us to push towards our goals. So your next step, and the crucial part of this, is acceptance. We need to understand where we are now in order to move forwards. So assess your current lifestyle, set clear goals, understand where it is that you want to go, create a bulletproof plan that you can stick to, and that's realistic given your lifestyle and your work schedule as well as your home life, and take action. Stop sitting on the fence. You've probably been here before where you're convincing yourself, I'll start Monday. Monday turns into a week turns into a month, and before you know it, you've got a year in the back mirror, and essentially you've not moved any further forwards with your health and fitness goals. Take action now in order to better yourself moving forwards, and get a support system in place. If you know you struggle with accountability, then surround yourself with people that are like-minded, like yourself, who want to achieve the same things as you, whether that be a coach and having someone that can guide you throughout the time that you're on your health and fitness journey and you're working towards the goals that you want to achieve, or surround yourself, like I say, with friends and family who are equally committed and equally passionate about you achieving the best version of you. So at Max Performance Coaching, we have something referred to as the pain to power to continuum, which is made up of 4 key principles. One of these is acceptance, like I've already spoken about. We need to be accepting of where we are now in order to move forwards. We need to be open to change. We need to be able to implement new things into our life, and they don't need to be massive things. It could be simple things such as drinking a bottle of water a day, or it could be the case of just being able to move a little bit more throughout the course of the day, as opposed to taking the lift, you're taking the stairs. By implementing these small changes over a long time, that's where we're going to see the results. Commitment. You need to be committed in order to achieve what it is that you're setting out to achieve. If you're not committed, let's be honest, you'll probably stick at it for potentially a few days to a week, and then you'll give up. And that leads me on to my next point, which is accountability. We need to be accountable, not only to ourselves, but also for our health and fitness journey and our goals that we're looking out to achieve. Because essentially, if we don't remain accountable and we don't keep ourselves on the train in terms of where we're going with things, they just simply won't happen. So I'm going to run you quickly through how I start a lot of my clients when they join Max Performance Coaching, and essentially how they start their health and fitness journeys. Like I said, the key point of knowing how to start your health and fitness journey is understanding where you are now. And we do this through making clear understandings and putting down measurements in order so we know where we are at point A. So then when we review it week on week, we can see that we're making progress. So we do this by taking measurements with body weight, hips, waist, neck, taking progress pictures. And of course, if there's any other area of the body, whether it be arms, legs, etc., that someone wants to focus on, we also look at those. By updating those and reviewing those every 1 to 2 weeks, it means that we can chronologically see with data how we are progressing throughout the time of our fitness journey. Let's be honest, as humans, we're very self-critical. So by having data, we can't argue with that. We can see factually how we are progressing. So another key tool that we use here at Max Performance Coaching is our health and fitness app that we use, which is True Coach. Basically, all of my clients get access to this. It allows them to work out their busy schedule, Monday to Sunday, and how to fit in a workout during this time, whether that be for 10, 20 minutes, potentially even an hour. There's video demonstrations of everything. There's a clear breakdown of what needs to be done, so you're never feeling lost when you walk inside the gym, or whether it be you're training from home. By also having True Coach available and MyFitnessPal connected, it allows us to basically make sure our nutrition is in alignment with our training. let's be honest, you can't out-train a negative diet. So it's really, really important that they're both singing from the same hymn sheet. So therefore, by having these two connected week in, week out, when I sit down and I have accountability sessions with my clients, we can see how everything is progressing. We can understand if we need to implement any new changes in order to push us towards the goals it is that we want to achieve. We also help our clients understand how to use these apps. We sit down with them, we go through it all, as well as demonstrating it through this guide like I've got here, whereby it shows a breakdown of how to implement your foods into MyFitnessPal. MyFitnessPal is a great tool because it enables us to basically track our health and our nutrition. By having it available and inputting the foods, whether it be by scanning barcodes or manually putting it into the app, it allows us to see day in, day out what we're doing in terms of our calories, our carbs, our proteins, and our fat intake. By having these available, it enables me, when it comes to our accountability sessions with our clients, to understand what it is that my clients are doing on a day-to-day basis with the nutrition, and if we can change anything in order to best improve their health and their well-being. So by having this available and having the ability to be able to scan barcodes, manually put stuff in, it not only enables us to basically track on a day-to-day basis by putting our foods in, but also if it was to be the case that you were to eat the same thing potentially across the space of a week, MyFitnessPal remembers that, so therefore it's easy for you to input and track. By offering our clients a clear breakdown of how to use these apps, it means that on a day-to-day basis they can find it as easy as possible, don't have to waste time being on their phone trying to work it all out, because let's be honest, if there is a hurdle for us using these things and it becomes tedious and it becomes a chore, then we're simply not going to do it, and that's what's going to steer us away from our goals. So by having a clear, easy to follow instruction manual to how to use these apps, it enables our clients to understand what they need to do in order to achieve the goals that they want to achieve. And the result of doing all of this, and by following and adhering to the 4 principles that we've put in the pain to power to continuum, you will not only feel stronger, leaner, move faster, be more confident in yourself, but you'll be more present on a day-to-day basis. You will wear and feel more comfortable in the clothes that you like, and you'll feel empowered on a day-to-day basis. When you look at yourself in the mirror, you'll feel confident about yourself. You will feel driven to achieve not only inside the gym, but also outside the gym and within your day-to-day life, whether that be at work or at home. You will feel focused, and more importantly, you will feel happier. And that's the biggest part of this journey, is that we're happy with where we're at and happier on a day-to-day basis with more energy. And I know you've potentially been here before. You've probably been at the start of a fitness journey in the past whereby you've got this great plan, you feel like you know what you're doing and you know where you want to go. And it might be the case that during the midst of potentially juggling work, life, and day-to-day stresses, that you've fallen off the wagon and found it really hard to get back on it. This is why I've implemented and designed this guide, because hopefully it will give you the tools and understanding of how to best manage your time on a day-to-day basis and enable you to work towards the goals that it is that you want to achieve without failing and without stopping. Because essentially the only time that we actually start to fail is when we stop altogether. Every day, if you're making the best choices that you can and the best changes that you can, that's all you can do. And ultimately using the time that you can to the best of your ability, using whether it be 10 to 15 minutes to do a workout, potentially 1 to 3 times a week, it's going to steer you in the right direction towards what it is that you want to achieve. I hope that you found this guide useful, and please, if you have, and if any of this resonates with you, feel free to drop us a message on any of our social media platforms. We're on Facebook, we're on LinkedIn, as well as Instagram, and you can speak to a coach today. If you also go through to our website, there will be a link there whereby you can book in a free discovery call with a coach today in order to dive deeper into your health and fitness goals and allow you to take charge of your health and fitness journey.